Let's get physical. It's Jordan here, back in with this month's update on all the PlayStation and Xbox physical releases. This video, as always, was researched, written, and edited by my man Tim. This is all his work, nothing to do with me apart from my voice. So, let's see what he's found for us this month. Azura's Crystal is releasing on the 4th of December for PlayStation 5 in North America, but Japan is also getting a Switch version, a colorful action exploration game that slipped quietly through its earlier digital debut with only a single solitary review on Steam. Azura's Crystal offers brisk combat, shiny loot, and a familiar Save the Realm setup. Early impressions suggest it's a perfectly fine, rather normal kind of game, more of a stocking filler than a centerpiece, but an easy option if you fancy some lightweight, cozy fantasy to round out the year. C.A.R.D.S RPG, the Misty Battlefield Total Warfare Edition, is releasing on the 4th of December for PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch in both North America and Europe, although Europe is delayed a little bit to the 11th. This has already been out in Japan for a good while now, and I'm very surprised it's actually coming to the West. Acquire's deck-building strategy RPG finally marches its way to the West in a physical package, mixing grid-based tactics with a card system that decides your attacks, buffs, and battlefield tricks. It's very much a budget Fire Emblem meets Top Trumps kind of thing, with positioning and deck synergy mattering far more than brute force. The Total Warfare Edition bundles the full game with its post-launch content and updates, making this an all-in-one version for preservationists. Reception for this one hasn't been great, not a hidden gem sadly, but it will be someone's favorite game out there, I am sure. Speaking of which, my executive producer, D's Nuts, has chosen this as his pick of the month. Octopath Traveler 0 is releasing on the 4th of December for Xbox, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Switch, and Nintendo Switch 2 as a game key. An unusual prequel, Square Enix has taken major elements from the mobile game Octopath Traveler Champions of the Continent and rebuilt them into a full-blown HD 2D RPG with new story content, full voice acting, and familiar turn-based combat. You'll build up your own hero, the protagonist is fully customizable with appearance, voice, even favorite food, and you are entrusted with restoring your hometown of Wishvale through a grid-based town-building system. Combat remains tactical with its namesake 8 characters, each character having their own ultimate skills, plus action abilities that can be learned, shared, and optimized. I think how well this title performs will be crucial. The first Octopath Traveler was a bold attempt at something different, and this prequel is a reimagining of a mobile gacha game. If it doesn't do well, it could signal to Square Enix that the money may be in the mobile editions, I don't know. So fingers crossed that this is not only a game worthy of praise, but also one that sells in decent numbers. And my executive producers, Rose, Dane Wilkinson, Adamantium, Robotech, God of Resin, Jake Vav, Dave Huswaite, they've chosen this as their pick of the month. And if you want it or any of the games in this video, then please consider using the links down below in the description and pinned comment. Any purchase made via those links massively helps support me, this channel, and especially this PlayStation series in the best way possible. It does truly help me so much, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. VGP are a really nice company with favorable prices in Canadian buckage and free worldwide shipping on orders over 75 Canadian bucks, like 54 American dollars, not that much. Alright, what else is in store this month? Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade and Rebirth Twin Pack is releasing on the 4th of December for PlayStation 5 in both North America and Europe. A twin pack that pairs Remake Intergrade, the Midgar-bound first chapter with its Yuffie DLC and glossier PlayStation 5 sheen, with Rebirth, the far broader open expanse second act that lets Cloud and company actually leave the city and touch grass. There is no new content, no extra secrets, no grand finale tucked in the corner of this release, but it's just a nice double pack for those who are wanting to jump on board right now. Think of it as a catch-up before the ending arrives edition. You get 2 amazing titles, and that's coming from me, Jordan, as well. I know some people don't get on with these remakes, but Final Fantasy VII, the original, is one of my favorite games of all time. Maybe number 1, maybe 2, depending on which side of the bed I wake up on. But I also really do enjoy these remakes. They're just everything I could have ever wished for. And my executive producers, Josh Foote, Dave Horwath, Thorn Metaluna, Pumpkin Ooster, and Lolo Jojo, have chosen this as their pick of the month. Old School Rally is releasing on the 4th of December for PlayStation 5 and Switch in Europe, with the North American release coming in early 2026. A deliberately retro love letter to 90s rally games, Old School Rally trades laser scan realism for chunky polygons and drift handling. Built by a tiny indie team, it's all time trials, point-to-point stages, unlockable cars, and no career mode bloat. Very much SaGa Rally by way of modern Unity, rather than a spreadsheet sim. It's already picked up a bit of a cult buzz on PC for nailing that arcade feeling, but it's still, rough around the edges, so manage expectations. It's charming, fast, and nostalgic for many. Mandragora, Whispers of the Witch Tree is releasing on the 5th of December for Xbox, PlayStation 5, and Switch in both North America and Europe. This is already available in Japan. A side-scrolling action RPG Souls-like, all the trendy genres together in one, that leans heavily into bleak fantasy. Mandragora is all about slow, stamina-bound combat, chunky weapon swings, and the familiar loop of explore, die, upgrade, and repeat. There are talent trees, multiple weapon styles, and character builds, but nothing here is trying to reinvent the wheel. Just give you a tougher than usual 2.5D crawl through a well-constructed world that feels like it's already given up long before you arrive. Digital players have been broadly positive about the atmosphere, but decidedly less enthusiastic about the pacing and occasionally stiff hit detection, so temper expectations. This isn't the second coming of Hollow Knight, more a respectable Souls-light that knows its lane. If you enjoy grim backdrops, slow progress, and something comfortably familiar, it should be a solid enough pick for December. Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora from the Ashes Edition is releasing on the 5th of December for Xbox and PlayStation 5 in both North America and Europe. Bundling together the base game, Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora, with the upcoming From the Ashes expansion, a new third-person camera mode, Fancy. A new game plus, and From the Ashes DLC, you'll take on the role of Solek, a battle-hardened Na'vi warrior seeking vengeance amid a devastating war with the Ash clan and the RDA. Nothing particularly new here, a fairly middling update to a fairly middling game by the sounds of it, from critics and fans alike. But Avatar fans will take great delight in another opportunity to explore the world of Pandora. Starlight Legacy is releasing on the 7th of December for PlayStation 5 and Switch in both North America and in Europe, where it's already released there. This is a throwback JRPG so committed to the 16-bit era, it might as well come bundled with an RF cable. Turn-based battles, chunky pixel art, and overworld exploration, and a choose-your-own order quest structure that gives it a lost, Super Nintendo classic energy. The digital release picked up quietly positive feedback for its brisk pacing and unfussy retro charm, a small release sure but surprisingly polished, and one that might scratch the itch for anyone pining for the days of Mode 7. Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, Yakuza 20th Anniversary Edition, and Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2. All of these releases are releasing separately, but they are releasing on the 8th of December for Xbox, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch 2 as a game key in both North America and Europe. For Western fans, December's Yakuza Hall is essentially a one-stop shrine for both newcomers and long-time obsessive fans. The heart of the release is Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, which is available in all regions. The Bubble Era prequel that launched the modern Yakuza resurgence, set in 1988 Tokyo and Osaka. It's a chaotic ballet of financial scams, emotional brawls, karaoke showdowns, and the best side quests of any series. Meanwhile, Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2 bundle is only available in North America on PlayStation 5, the first two mainline titles remade from the ground up with updated graphics and modernized combat. Kiwami 1 revisits Kazuma Kiryu's early days in Kamurocho, while Kiwami 2 dives deeper into the criminal underworld, adding new side content. It's a highly ambitious story and even more ways to belt around anyone on the streets of Tokyo and Osaka. Both games highlight how the series balances absurdity with amazingly tight storytelling, blending neon-lit grit, over-the-top violence, and pop culture-laden Japanese charm. Then there is Yakuza 20th Anniversary Edition, exclusive to Europe, which combines the director's cut of Yakuza 0 with Kiwami 1 and 2 into one package, along with a steelbook. It's a bit complicated, I'm sorry, but this is SaGa for you. This is perfect for those who want the series as formative titles in one place without having to own multiple releases, which the Yakuza series really does love. This release is also a reminder of just how far the franchise has come, from mid-2000s niche curiosity to a global, recognized saga of crime, camaraderie, karaoke bars, side missions, minigames, disco dance-offs, hostess bars, and yakitori-fueled street fights. And yet somehow, the series manages to keep itself grounded with some of the most genuinely compelling storytelling. It's loud, chaotic, and ridiculous, but entirely in the best way possible. And my executive producers, Ishim, Kevin W., Jennifer M., Joshua L., and my man Tim have chosen this as their pick of the month. Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 is releasing on the 8th of December for PlayStation 5 in both North America and Europe. The long-running flight sim finally taxes onto PlayStation 5, bringing the absurdly detailed world map, hefty aircraft roster, and a full suite of structured career paths from firefighting to medevac runs to, crop dusting and cargo jobs. Nothing unique to the PlayStation 5 version, as far as I could see, just DualSense support with adaptive triggers and gyro subtly mimicking cockpit feedback, which has been hyped. It's still the ultimate go anywhere, do anything aviation sandbox. Flight Simulator 2024 is an Atlas-sized playground for aviation obsessives, casual sightseers, and everyone in between. Still seems crazy to me that we have Microsoft Flight Simulator on consoles, though, let alone a PlayStation. Sadly, as far as I'm aware, this is a download required. Romancing Saga Minstrel Song Remastered International is releasing on the 9th of December for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 in both North America and Europe. There's also a brand new Switch release as well. Square Enix continues its slow, oddly timed Saga revival with this upgraded edition of the 2005 PS2 cult classic, which in itself is a remake of the original Saga game. This remaster came out a couple of years ago already, but this international edition, the only thing different about it is that it has more languages within it. Red Art Games somehow persuaded Square Enix to let them re-release this game, but add in French, German, Italian, and such like that. If you have it already via the import from a long time ago, then you don't need to upgrade this unless you really can only speak French. Or it will be a good one for those who are too afraid to import. Goodnight Universe is releasing on the 9th of December for PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch 2 as a game key in both North America and Europe. You play as a 6-month-old baby with budding psychic powers that's trying to navigate family strife while trying to be abducted by an over-eager tech corporation. What? The game is from the developers of Before Your Eyes and leans fully into experimental storytelling and a camera as a controller option, whatever that is. Reviews so far call it tender, strange, emotionally potent, equal parts aww, and equal parts what the hell is happening, but overwhelmingly positive reviews nonetheless. If you're up for something small, bizarre, and profoundly different, Goodnight Universe might just be the sleeper hit of December. Breakout Beyond is releasing on the 11th of December for PlayStation 5 in Europe. Limited Run did this in North America already. Atari mining its back catalogue, this time with a reimagining of the brick-busting classic Breakout. Breakout Beyond adds flashy visuals, new power-ups, and a handful of modern twists. But let's be honest, it's still just hitting colored blocks with a ball, and Arkanoid mastered that already. Anima Gate of Memories 1 and 2 Remaster is releasing on the 11th of December for PlayStation 5 in both North America and Europe. Both games in the Anima action RPG duo get polished up for the PlayStation 5, bringing their 2016 era ambition into slightly sharper focus. The first lays out the Labyrinth Supernatural plot and flexible combat system, while the sequel tightens things up with better pacing and cleaner encounters. It's not a dramatic overhaul, and rather than pretending they're lost relics from the PlayStation 2 era bargain bin, they're not. They are PlayStation 4 games that are readily available and readily cheap. But I'm sure someone has been desperate for a remaster, so this one is for you. Speaking of which, my executive producer, Jimmy A. Guerrero, has chosen this as his pick of the month. Dunjungle is releasing on the 11th of December for PlayStation 5 and Switch in Europe. North America is coming early 2026. A side-scrolling roguelike action game that throws you into procedurally generated jungle dungeons and temples. You play as a monkey hero, battling enemies with a mix of weapons, elemental spells, and relics. Each run offers a fresh challenge thanks to permadeath and randomized loot. The pixel art visuals are charmingly retro, but the difficulty curve is anything but forgiving. making this one for fans of repeat until you master it runs rather than casual strolls through the jungle. Terminator 2D No Fate is releasing on the 12th of December for Xbox, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch in both North America and Europe. Finally, it's releasing after many delays. The Terminator license has been everywhere from arcade light guns to clunky open world shooters, so why not return to its roots as a retro-style 2D action game? No Fate revisits the classic film in side-scrolling form, time travel melodrama, and plenty of steel-crunching boss fights against Skynet's finest. It's not exactly James Cameron's sweeping blockbuster vision, but there is a lot of buzz around this one, and my executive producers, Michael Del Polito and Louis K, have chosen this as their pick of the month. Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. I was gonna do the Mortal, but I can't do it. Releasing on the 12th of December for PlayStation 5, Switch, and Switch 2 in both North America and Europe. Limited Run Games also did an Xbox version if you were interested in that. This is a very comprehensive archive of Mortal Kombat's early days. This compilation bundles the original arcade classics, early console ports, and a handful of obscure spin-offs. Beyond the games themselves, it adds modern conveniences like rollback netcode for online play, a fatality trainer, and access to developer menus, concept art, and even a historical documentary. For retro fighting fans and completionists, it's essentially the definitive early era package. Sadly, early PC reviews are not great, and it seems the ports have not been, done the justice they deserve, but here's hoping they get all the details sorted with a patch in time for this physical release launch. And personally, it's Jordan speaking right now. I played this and reviewed it on Nintendo Switch 2, and it was great for me. I really enjoyed it. But my executive producer, Instacritic, and me, it's my pick of the month. It's our pick of the month. 9 Years of Shadows is releasing on the 12th of December for PlayStation 5 in Europe, a Metroidvania that casts you as Europa, a lone warrior venturing into a vast mechanical fortress called Talos to restore color to the world drained by darkness. Very solidly reviewed, and will be very well received for those that want even more Metroidvanias to own. I can't see anything particularly revolutionary here. The usual pixel art visuals, elemental armor switching, sprawling interconnected maps, etc. But looks very solid, just a tough time to release after Silksong. But my executive producers, Alexander Cato and Jeddah Crow, have chosen this as their pick of the month. Cooking Companions is releasing on the 12th of December for PlayStation 5 and Switch in Europe. North America is coming early 2026. Originally released on PC in 2021, it is a cute psychological horror visual novel with a dark, unsettling twist. Set in a remote cabin in the Tatras Mountains, a group of friends must survive starvation, rising flood waters, and a creeping sense of dread as relationships fray and paranoia mounts. Features multiple endings, branching narrative choices, and a horror-heavy tone, so one where a book is best not to be judged by its cover, because if I see something called Cooking Companions, I'm gonna think that's a terrible game, but apparently not. And my executive producer, Ghost Bune, has chosen this as their pick of the week. Bee Simulator The Hive is releasing on the 12th of December for PlayStation 5 in Europe, a remixed and extended version of the humble, relaxed, semi-open world bee flying sandbox. The original Bee Simulator from 2019 is bundled with the Hive expansion, where you're not just buzzing around and collecting pollen, avoiding wasps and zooming on jet streams anymore. Now, you can build and customize your own hive colony, manage resources, and even scale up from solo flights to full-on colony life. Umurangi Generation is releasing on the 18th of December for PlayStation 5 and Switch in North America. It's already out in Europe, apparently. When did that happen? A stylized first-person photography game where your weapon is a camera, not a gun. You roam around a stylized dystopian city, snapping photographs on a deadline and piecing together a story of corporate greed, urban decay, and environmental collapse, all the while picking lenses, framing shots, and editing your pictures like a postmodern war journalist. No combat, no explosions, just an urgent, often bleak invitation to look closer. It is a cult hit for a reason. Yooka-Re-Playlee is releasing on the 18th of December for Xbox, PlayStation 5, and Nintendo Switch 2 in both North America and Europe. This is a full reimagining of the 2017 3D platformer Yooka-Laylee, a game that arrived with a fan-favorite spirit but kinda disappointing execution. Reviews at the time flagged a wonky camera, unwieldy controls, and levels that often felt aimless or barren. Re-Playlee seems to fix all that. It retains the tongue-in-cheek buddy platformer foundation, a chameleon and a bat duo running through the whimsical worlds, collecting pages, tackling platforming puzzles, and shedding the old world's rough edges, smoothing out camera issues, modernizing controls, doubling down on collectibles, and adding quality of life improvements that make it feel like what the original should have been. I think Yooka-Laylee was a game that was neither as bad nor as good as many claimed, but sat somewhere in the middle. And with a new start, hopefully this title will find itself in a less contentious position. And personally, Jordan speaking here, I think this game is fantastic. And my executive producer, Cartoon Soren, has chosen this as his pick of the month. Adventure of Samsara is releasing on the 18th of December on PlayStation 5 in Europe. Limited Run did this in North America. Another indie Metroidvania enters the fray with pixel art, mutant bosses, and the collapse of the multiverse storyline. You'll explore 10 biomes, unlocking powers, and hunt every nook and cranny for hidden loot. It wears its inspiration proudly, but seems almost a tad late to the party to make an impact, one for those who are after the more curious and niche titles. Astral Ascent Stellar Edition is releasing on the 18th of December for PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch in Europe. A popular 2D roguelike platformer that casts you in the astral prison known as the Garden. Astral Ascent is all about fast runs and ruthless bosses. This Stellar Edition bundles everything together in one package, all the patches up to 2.0, 2 DLCs, and extras like a sticker sheet. Essentially a complete package, so perfect for preservationists out there. Limited Run originally did the original version of the game, but this Red Hot Games release is better. Nordic Ashes, the complete saga, is releasing on the 19th of December for PlayStation 5 and Switch in both North America and Europe. A top-down survival arena game in the vein of Vampire Survivor, where you pick from a roster of Norse-inspired characters and fend off waves of enemies while gathering upgrades and loot. These games are popular for a reason, addictive, and perfect for those who enjoy intense, twitchy sessions, so really this is no different, but great if you fancy a Survivor clone with a Norse twist. And my executive producer Viz has chosen this as their pick of the month. A quick mention to some delayed releases. R-Type Delta HD Boosted is releasing on the 4th of December for PlayStation 5 and Switch in Europe. Eartheon is releasing on the 16th of December for PlayStation 5 and Switch in Europe. Alright, let's jump into limited run games. Yes, what of their pre-orders, or when are their pre-orders ending? Well, we've got Heretic and Hexen. A double pack. Pre-orders end on the 7th of December for Xbox, PlayStation 5 and Switch. A double dose of 90s dark fantasy shooters, Heretic and Hexen help define the era of Doom-style FPSs, but with a twist. Magic spells, medieval weapons, and branching level designs. Developed by Raven Software and published by id Software, these games stood out for their moody, gothic worlds, destructible environments, and early attempts at narrative-driven FPS gameplay. This bundle brings them together for modern consoles, perfect for those who still prefer magic wands and skeletons over lasers and space marines, or just fancy a nostalgia trip through cursed castles and echoing halls. And my executive producers, Firm Returns and Nerdy Sean, have chosen this as their pick of the month. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Pre-orders end for this on the 7th of December on PlayStation 4. A true cult classic, this 1995 point-and-click adventure game remains as unique and unsettling today as it was at release. Navigating the twisted machinations of the malevolent AI-AM, making harrowing moral choices while solving puzzles that reward thought as much as nerve. Revered for its daring storytelling and uncompromising darkness, it is a game that has endured by standing apart, grim, and unforgettable. I think many younger players will find this clunky and certainly showing in its age, but a title worth experiencing, if just once. And my executive producer, Azura, has chosen this as his pick of the month. Angry Video Game Nerd 8-bit pre-orders for this end on the 7th of December for Switch and PlayStation 5. A pixelated homage to James Rolfe's long-running YouTube shtick, this new 8-bit throwback is deliberately frustrating as it is slightly cringeworthy, a Mega Man clone with punishing mechanics and all the self-aware humor that makes you wonder if nostalgia excuses everything, and yet somehow people will still buy it. And my executive producer Sora Cat chosen this as a pick of the month. Snow Bros Classic Collection pre-orders end on the 14th of December for PlayStation 5 and Switch. This collection gathers the full arcade adventures of Nick and Tom, the snowball-wielding twins. Across dozens of single-screen levels, players lob snow, trap enemies, and chain combos, frantically attempting to clear each stage. This includes the Mega Drive version, the NES version, and the Game Boy version. Fans of high-score chasing, co-op chaos will feel right at home with this one. Valiant Hearts coming home. Pre-orders end on the 21st of December for Xbox, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch. The follow-up to the quietly revered Valiant Hearts attempts to return players to the trenches of World War I, but this time reviews suggest the heartstrings are tugged just a little too hard, and the puzzles feel a touch padded. The comic book-inspired art and historical vignettes remain, but many found the sequel a disappointment compared to the original's clever pacing and emotional punch. Perfect if you want some somber war stories, served with heavy-handed sentiment and just enough brain-teasing. Trials of the Blood Dragon pre-orders end on the 21st of December for Xbox and PlayStation 4. Ubisoft's 2016 attempt to splice Trials precision biking with Blood Dragon's neon-soaked nonsense never quite stuck the landing. Critics politely called it awful. It is a loud blend of bikes, guns, and 80s parody, a curiosity for collectors perhaps, or those who love having a full set of limited-run games. And my executive producer, Brent McLean, has chosen this as his pick of the month. Neon Inferno pre-orders end on the 28th of December for PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch. Retro cyberpunk run-and-gun from Zenovia Interactive that blends the old arcade spirit of Contra and Metal Slug with a gallery shooter mechanic. Well received from its digital release, you play as a syndicate assassin tearing through 2055's New York, juggling foreground and background firefights and flashy bullet-deflecting time tricks. It's all very stylish, frenetic, and very much for people who want pure arcade fun. And my executive producer, The Nemo 6, has chosen this as his pick of the month. Alright, let's jump into the import section. Play Asia territory. If you want to import any of these games, then please do so via the Play Asia links. If you do click my link, you can get 5% off with my code Jordan2025. Kemco RPG Selection Volume 4 and 5 are releasing on the 18th of December for PS5 in Japan and Asia. The Asian release definitely has English, the Japanese one I'm not entirely sure. Here you get 2 more budget JRPG bundles from Kemco, collecting turn-based battles that originally appeared on Switch, PlayStation 4, and before that probably on mobile. Each volume brings a handful of full-length games, standard fantasy or sci-fi RPGs with the usual tropes, pixel art, long story campaigns, and classic JRPG mechanics. Nothing groundbreaking, but a tidy way for fans of old-school RPGs to grab multiple stories in one go with minimal fuss. Although not sure what benefit is of getting a PlayStation 5 copy over the PS4 one, I don't know. But my executive producer, my man in Japan, Vei, has chosen this as his pick of the month. Wings of Endless is releasing on the 18th of September for PlayStation 5 in Japan, a pixel art action RPG where you swap between multiple heroes, hack through monsters, and trespass over deserts, forests, and snow, all with the vague air of budget indie throwback. Reviews so far are lukewarm at best. Combat feels soggy, and the progression loose, leaving it more of a rough sketch than a polished adventure. If you're hunting for nostalgia on the cheap, you may want to give it a go, but don't expect miracles. Candy Rangers is releasing on the 18th of December for PlayStation 5 in Japan, an on-rail shooter where you control 4 sibling rangers, Candy, Mint, Lemon, and Plum, each with a unique shooting style, sideways, vertical, back and forth, and diagonal, to match the color-coded enemies flooding on the screen. More than 20 levels plus hidden secret paths, 4 boss battles, branching routes, and a hard mode where each hit doubles your time penalty. It looks quite interesting as a title, but far under the radar for many people. with very minimal reviews for its digital release. One to check out if you're after something a bit different. Anima is releasing on the 18th of December for PlayStation 5 and Switch in Japan. There will be a North American standard retail release later next year, early next year. A minimal text game, pixel art Metroidvania-style puzzle platformer that quietly became one of 2024's indie standouts. You play as a small blob creature, exploring a vast interconnected underground labyrinth filled with strange animals, secrets, and environmental puzzles. It earned near universal praise for its PC release, with plaudits for its atmosphere, clever design, and uncompromising sense of mystery. We will talk about it more when it gets its general release next year, but this is one for those who missed limited runs release and don't want to wait for the North American release. The Ernest Evans Collection is releasing on the 25th of December for PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and Switch in Japan. This does not have English, but it's not entirely needed, and limited run games will be doing this in the West at some point. They already announced it, but they haven't taken pre-orders for it yet. This collection bundles the entire Cult trilogy from Wolf Team, El Viento, Ernest Evans, and Annette Futatabi. I think I said that right. They are retro platformers and stuff. Very retro, very clunky, but also very interesting, and I do kind of want to play these. But you might as well wait for limited runs release if you want full English. Alright, here are some Japanese releases that we have in the West already. And here are some Japanese releases that will not have English. And those are all the physical releases for PlayStation 5 this December. Thank you so much to Tim for making this video happen. Without him, this would not happen. So show your support with a thumbs up, a comment, and maybe purchase using one of the links in the description and pinned comment. Plus, a special thank you to all my executive producers over on Patreon. Here they all are. This video is long enough, they don't need me talking for another minute, saying all their names. I say them on Monday, okay? And I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care.